Tikka, Tikka, Tikka. Seems like that's all I ever see comments on. Whenever we do a gun review, up pops somebody saying Tikka, Tikka, Tikka. I love my Tikka TX3. Why don't you cover it? We're covering it. Actually, we're unveiling it. And this, I think, is the latest from Tikka. And it is called the Drover. 20-inch barrel, short little Batu rifle. You know Batu? I didn't either. I had to look it up. Batu is a French term for driven game hunt. So you could have a Batu for pheasant hunting, driving pheasants toward the shooters. Of course, in Europe, with rifles, it's boars. European big boars driving through the woods. They want a short, light, fast-handling rifle, a bateau or a bateau. So that's what you're getting with this Drover. Over here, we would call this a ranch rifle. Something handy to have in the truck, easy in and out, quick, not getting all tangled up. And I'm going to guess over here they're calling this a Drover for that reason, but you're going to see a lot of guys who are doing the feral hog, feral pig hunts wanting something like this, because in addition to being short and light and handy, it has a 10-round magazine. And as a traditional hunter, I always say, why do you need a 10-round magazine? But I'm not trying to take out a sounder of 30 feral pigs either. And I would imagine you could probably get smaller magazine boxes for this one or larger ones, but there it is. Now, we're going to go through all the features of this rifle, and then we're going to see how well it shoots, because I think the reason I hear Tikka, Tikka, Tikka all the time is because they're so darn accurate, so consistently accurate. And in a 308, you would imagine it's going to be really magnificent. So we'll take it out and really run through its paces. But if you guys are looking for something short and handy, this thing is supposed to weigh in around 6 pounds 4 ounces in some earlier formations, but now I've weighed this one right at 7 pounds. But there's very little data out yet on this. I think it's so new. So here are the weights that I came up with. The overall is 7, as I said. The stock alone is 1 pound 13 ounces. The barreled action without the bolt in it is 3 pounds and 8 ounces. The bolt itself is 12 ounces, and then the bottom metal, including the magazine, came in at about 10.5 ounces. So the whole thing is totaling up there at around 7 pounds. But boy, you know, I think that's a pretty good little option. Now, notice the sights on this. Weird. Why do they have this big ramp coming up here? I don't exactly know, other than you can see it has the fiber optics inserts, and it's all set up to grab your eye and drive it toward the aiming point. And by golly, it works. It's like looking down a runway at your lights. So when I'm coming up like this, it is right there. I was really impressed when I first did that. I thought that looks like a gimmick. And I popped it up, and that front post, orange, is sitting right in the notch of the rear, outlined by 2 little green fiber optics. And it just really works. And in a dark forest or in the evening, that stuff is really going to stand out. So I think it's a pretty darn good system. Of course, most of us are scope people, or perhaps red dot for in close and driven hunts. They've got just about every option on top of this receiver. The rail is integral. They've got a small ejection port on these Tikkas, and they've got it threaded, drilled, and everything else for traditional mounts, but it looks like they've got some post holes in there for the European quick detach mounts, perhaps. It looks like it'll pretty much handle anything you want to put on top of it for sighting. Oversized bolt handle, that's really quick. Let's see what this safety does. Pulled back, obviously it's unsafe, nothing happens. The bolt's locked down. I like that for brush hunting when you're carrying it over your shoulder. You've got the little red on the back to tell you that it's cocked, so your cocking indicator is real easily seen. When I push the safety forward, bolt works, and of course it's going to fire, and there you're going to see, there, that's the back essentially of the firing pin. You know, it's what's slamming forward. So getting the bolt out is dead simple. It's got the bolt release button right back here. Slide it right out. You see we've got the traditional dual lug 90-degree bolt lift dual lug system with a Sacco style extractor inset and the plunger ejector. Now you'd think it would have a Sacco ejector since Sacco builds Tikka rifles. I think the way it worked was years ago, Sacco picked up Tikka, bought them, And then, believe it or not, right now, Beretta owns both of them. So Beretta is really at the base of all of this. Now, this is called a Rough Tech stock, synthetic molded plastic stuff. It's got the cross hatches inside to stiffen the walls so they don't go flexing on you. And it's pretty well done. I'm not getting a lot of flex out of this. I can see it's a free floated barrel. It's got an extra little screw right here. Now, what is that all about? Are they literally screwing the barrel down? Back in the mid 20th century, barrels had a little extension on the bottom of it that was threaded, and they would screw it to the stock. So you had your usual recoil lug area bedding screw, the main one, as well as the one in the tang in the back, and then one in the middle. So I thought, that is unusual. You don't see that anymore. Wrong, it's not what it is on this rifle. It's just essentially an extra screw hole for another sling stud. So if you want to attach something else, you've got the option of putting one right there. And it's got a quick release on this. I'm not crazy about, just because of the accidental bumping. It just seems like it's too easy to accidentally bump that thing and fall it out, drop it out. So that's a kind of a, make up your own mind on that. But I think it's pretty well set up for that driven game hunt. Now, there's real good texture on this stock. It feels sandy. In the paint scheme, I suspect they just mixed in some sand with that paint. And then they've got these notched grips here. It's almost like having checkering, but it's obviously cast. But it's good and sharp. You can really hang on to that little insert there on the pistol grip. Got a little bit of a palm swell on both sides, so you could run it both ways. And I know they offer these, or at least they offer the TX3 actions, or the T3X actions, in a left hand. So if you guys are southpaws, you can probably find something from Tikka that'll work for you. Then they've got a hood over the front sight, and that, of course, is to protect that sight from getting knocked off and damaged. Now, they've got the threaded muzzle with something a little extra. Never seen this before, but it comes with this adapter. So you've got a fairly narrow one here with whatever the thread pitch is that will fit some aftermarket brakes and suppressors. But if you've got the larger diameter, you just put this on and you just essentially make it larger so you can fit that. That is about all I can tell you on this one from here. I think we need to get outside and give us some shooting exercise and see if these things actually shoot as well as everyone claims they do. We are looking for the guaranteed 3 shots under an inch, and I'll bet you if this stands up to what everyone says it should be, we're going to shoot even better than that. 308 Winchester Tikka T3X. Here we go. I think we've got our sight turned up a little bit. Interesting sight adjustment. Couple of screws, loosen one, turn the other one in, and it lifts the sight up. Nice. But what it does not allow me to do is adjust the windage. So we'll see how effective we are on windage. Oh, baby, I'm running out of ammo here. Oh, there's some good ones. Whew, not too many left. Hope I have another box of this stuff. Okay, right for the middle as best I can tell. Great. Betsy says I didn't even hit the paper. All right, we'll just shoot a couple more, see what goes on here. So as I said, I don't have the greatest eyes for this. Front sight. I think I'm gonna stick with scopes. Did I hit the wall that time? Because my third shot. Gosh, it's hard to see where this is. More power to you young guys who can see that target. Oh yeah. That's not a bad little group, guys. Suggest this rifle can shoot if I can't. But it just shoots too far left and there's no adjustment. I even checked their manual that came with it and said for windage adjustment, go to a Sacco factory or a professional gunsmith or something, which is kind of silly. Normally you just drift the front post, but we'll just take their advice and not fool with it anymore. But now let's just try I think we want to try some quick shots, field shots, standing up kind of thing that you would be doing if you were actually hunting these things, driven boar shooting kind of thing. Okay, ready. Well, since this is a bateau or a Batu rifle for close range shooting, I thought I'd do some close range shooting. We have a steel plate out there at about 25, maybe 30 yards. That ought to represent driven game in the forest. Let's just see how quickly they can cycle with this big bolt, and whether or not I can hit anything. Pretty slick little shooter. I think that's kind of handy to have that 308 short length action. I can see how this thing would work. I could have had more rounds in that magazine too, but the pig's already dead and that's my limit. Obviously, when you get a new rifle, you want to clean the barrel out. I don't think it's going to destroy anything if you don't, but it just makes good common sense. They've probably fired it at the factory for function testing, so it will be foul. Don't expect it to be clean just because it's new. But use whatever cleaning technique you like. I usually like a nylon brush, then I'll wrap it with a patch and soak that patch and push it through. Ideally, you'll want to get, for longevity for your firearm, you probably want something in the action to control the round, or the rod to control the rod, or be very careful when you slide it in. A chamber guide is what you're going to want. And I generally use those, and I probably will on this. I just wanted to show you what happens with that rod flexing back and forth like that when you push through. You have to be really cautious. I don't think that rod's going to do significant damage, or maybe even any damage. I think that's a little bit overplayed. But for a lot of us, gosh, an expensive rifle, we want to make sure we don't mess anything up. So if you can get a chamber guide to slide in the chamber and guide that rod perfectly down the bore, you're going to reduce any chances for the rod to slap against the rifling and perhaps wear on it a little bit. Again, as I say, you're driving bullets down there with like 65,000 psi of pressure, metal on metal, and then you're going to worry about a little nylon coated rod breaking something? I don't think so. But let me see if I can't find a bore guide that'll fit in there. Some fit pretty easily, some not so much. Yeah, see that little cone just goes into the chamber until it hits a tight spot, and then that centers everything up. So my next patch will be guided perfectly down the bore, and Grandpa Ron will have silenced his critics. But I'll probably get some anyway who will say, "Oh my gosh, you should have never done that first one. That rifle will never shoot now." By the way, that first patch looked like I just cleaned out our chimney after burning 4 cords of wood all fall and winter. That was pretty dirty. And you noticed how tightly that went in with a 30 caliber brush, and then the patch makes for a really tight fit, but those soft bristles flex back pretty nicely. Let me just show you really quickly, get this thing back up in the saddle here, how dirty even this second patch is. And the first one was way blacker than this, so that's what you want to get out. Once you've gotten out the carbon, and this is a bore cleaner for your standard carbon fouling, the soot. But once that's done, then you want to look for copper. And I've got a new copper remover here from Shooter's Choice I haven't tried yet. We'll give that a try and see how quickly it takes any copper out, if there's any in here. So we'll get this thing all cleaned up, and you'll take it right down to bare metal to give it a fair shot at a new life as a shooting rifle. Well, obviously, if we want to see how accurate this Tikka is, we'd better put a scope on it. So that's what I am involved with right now. Oddly, it did not come with any scope mounts, not that a lot of rifles do, but I just kind of thought this Tikka, given its precision, or its reputation for precision shooting, might include some bases, but I had to order those. Didn't have any on hand that would fit, but they've got a nice pick rail. So we're putting on the pick rail, and then I found a scope, and that's all ready to go. The Leupold VX5 HD. Looks like it goes up to 15 power, so it's the 3 to 15 by 44. A little heavier scope than I would want on a rifle like this. Pretty compact, little handy, quick rifle for woods hunting. So I'd go with more something like in the 2 to 8 range or so. I think that would be pretty good. But for precision shooting, let's keep our power up there. So we can't make an excuse like, well, I couldn't see the crosshair on the target all that well. Just a guesstimate. Might bring it back one notch. Oh yeah, that's where I need her to be. Hey guys, well, obviously I put a scope on it. I got it pretty much zeroed at 50 yards. We're gonna stretch it out to 100 now. I zeroed with this 168 grain load. Creedmoor ammunition, not all that familiar with it, but it says it's precision match grade stuff. So, but I think I wanna finish off my Normas here, the 150 grain. I only have 3 left, but let's shoot our first group with that. Not sure how that's gonna land. Looks like we're about an inch to the right down there at 5 o'clock. A couple of inches low. We'll just shoot for the group there. That one was 2781.5 feet per second. Holds nice and steadily. Right there with it. So far the Tikka is living up to its reputation. Woohoo! Third time's the charm. Right there. Oh my gosh. Guys, I think you've been right. Unless that was a fluke, that was pretty incredible stuff. Let this barrel cool for just a bit. Now, this was a Norma 150 grain tip strike. No, it was the Echo Strike. So I'm assuming this is an all copper bullet with a polymer tip. Norma's great ammunition. It's usually pretty darn consistent. And that was a pretty impressive first group, I'll tell you what. Now we'll try this Creedmoor, and this is supposed to be match grade stuff, so I'm expecting equal performance, if not better. And that one is using Lapua or Lapua brass, which is probably considered to be even a little better quality overall than Norma. I won't swear that one is or not, but this is a, whose bullet are they using? A Hornady hollow point boat tail. So let's put 3 of those in while we're letting things cool here. Still fairly cool this morning and pleasant being out here. I'm gonna get this job done before the afternoon heat comes in. You will notice that my scope is pretty high, too high. I don't have a cheek weld, as someone has seen in some of my other videos, it's more of a chin weld. But that's kind of the price you pay when you're putting a big scope on, just so you have the precision you want for these targets. So we've got a Leupold VX5 HD and it goes up to 15 power. So I've only got it set at 8 right now, and that's a pretty darn good group. So let's crank it up to 15 for these next ones. Man, those holes are all they're all touching. There's one right on top of the other. That is really nice. Oh, I just might have to look into one of these Tikkas. Everybody kept telling me Tikka T3 or TX3, is it? I don't even know the name of the poor thing. T3X, Tikka T3X. Everybody's just crazy about them. And if they're gonna do this all day, right out of the box, I have to say I'm agreeing. Well, let's try another bunch here. You can see my scope is still catching almost on the rear open sight. Not seeing it though. A lot of guys will freak out and think, oh my gosh, it's gonna block your view. That hasn't happened. It looks like it should. I don't know exactly what the physics are behind that, but you don't see it. You could even put your finger in front of it like this and you barely see anything. You can lay a dime on there. Try that sometime. Put a dime right in the middle of your scope and tip it up and look. And you won't see that dime, but you'll see your target behind it. Got to do with the bending of the light. Okay, I think we can drop a magazine in and give it 3 shots here. Ooh, baby. I'm not gonna make any compensation on the 0. Let's get it on paper. I'm gonna assume it's gonna still shoot to the right a little bit, but the elevation might change because of the difference in velocity. Speaking of the difference in velocity,
The average there was 2783.2. So let us go to a new session here. There we go. Ha! I'm getting pretty good with this little digital gadget. That's quite an accomplishment for Grandpa Ron. All right, let's see what this target says when I put, I think I'm going to still aim for the center, assuming this is going to strike quite a bit higher or lower. But if not, we can already see we've got ourselves about a half-inch group out there. Went lower, 26-24. Don't assume that every time you shoot a heavier bullet, it's going to strike lower. That is not the case all the time. Quite often, it's just the opposite. Yeah, it's about a half-inch off the other one. Right there. Just under an inch group on that one. Oh my goodness. It's the Tikka, folks. It's got to be the Tikka. Of course, we're using some pretty good high quality ammo here. Why don't we take a break? We'll let this cool. We'll get some other ammunition and we'll try some more groups. But boy, thus far, I've got to agree with you guys. These Tikka T3, oh my gosh, they can shoot right out of the box. No wonder you guys are in love with these things. Well, everything's ready for some all-American ammo here. Let's just get back to good old Remington Winchester Federal. We might shoot, do I have some Hornadies here? And the Nosler. See if we can get to those, but I just want to try kind of your standard everyday ammunition that we're all used to for so many years here. The stuff we can easily get. See how well that shoots. This is 150 grain Winchester's deer season load. It's supposed to be going 28-20. I doubt it'll get that fast out of this short barrel. Let's see if we can get some accuracy at the, let's hope we don't shoot too high and miss the target now with this different load. I also dialed up. I did a 5-inch correction or so. So we're in the upper left corner, little red dot. See what Mr. Winchester can do. I think I am going to aim an inch below the red dot, just in case this goes extra high and goes off the paper. So 1 inch below the upper left red dot. Felt good, there it is. Inch to the right, it's only a 1/4 inch above where I was aiming, so I dialed properly for this one. Nice, right beside it. Wow, wow. Impressive. Sub-MOA group, guys, looks like they're around 3/4 of an inch. Winchester's in the game. That's pretty popular common deer hunting load right there. No match grade bullets or ammunition required. Nice one on the Winchester. Let me run a little data here while that barrel cools. Average 27.68. 27.68. That's pretty good for a short 20-inch barrel like this. And we'll get the group size when we get out there. But look, like I say, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch. Nice. Now let's see what Mr. Remington can do for us with a 150 grain core lock tipped. Let's open it at this end. 1, 2, 3. Pretty warm barrel, but I think we can get 3 more off. Well, let us slide over to where the black heavy center line comes down and meets the big circle for the middle target. So we're just about 4 inches to the right of our last group. Straight up an inch, right on the line. 26.32. Same hole. I think I enlarged the hole. 2692. That one's out about 3/4 of an inch or so. Awfully good group there, 2715. Yeah, that one was quite a bit faster than the others. Average was 2724. But that included the previous bunch, so that's not going to count. I would have had to erase all the data and start over on a second group. Shot number 6 was 2715. Shot number 5 was 2692. Shot number 4 was 2632. Quite a bit of deviation there. Yeah, we've got an average of about 2660 off of that one. All right, now for the Federal 165 grain Swift Sirocco's. This is a great bonded hunting bullet. I think a good choice in the 308. Perfect for a 30-06. All right, we've got a new session ready to go here on the Garmin. So now we're going over to the red dot on the right top. Oh, right underneath it. Yep, that one flew wide and high. Up there at about 1:32 o'clock. That was unexpected. That's our widest group so far. Yeah, it's still a decent 1.25 to 1.5 inch group the way it looks. I think it does not necessarily like the Federal Sirocco load. Let's get our average 2698. That's good velocity. 2698, nice. 20-inch barrel with a heavy bullet like that. It's loaded pretty nicely. Consider that for an elk hunt. All right, a little bit more cooling here. I don't know what we need to prove anymore with this thing. It's just so consistent. We have, we got to do some copper, guys. We're going to shoot some copper bullets to see if they're inaccurate. If they are, we might clean the barrel and then shoot again just to test that theory that seems to be largely true, that you shoot copper after you've followed your barrel with gilding metal bullets. It's not that accurate. But I've got outfitter load from Hornady here with their CX bullet. That's all copper, 150 grain. Oh, we've got an AccuBond. That's a standard bullet from Nosler. We might want to shoot that yet, 165 grain AccuBond. But then we've got two, Lehigh Defense. I think they call it Controlled Chaos or something like that, CC. They're claiming 2,800 feet per second out of a 24-inch barrel, 152 grain. So it's not loaded super hot, but it's supposed to be a heck of a devastating bullet. We may try that. So we got a couple of copper loads here. We're not going to shoot this match grade Creedmoor with a Cena 155 grain. We've already shot some of the Creedmoor. We know that stuff's accurate. So yeah, let's do the Nosler. Noslers are usually pretty darn good hunting bullet. That AccuBond is well respected in the hunting fields. Ooh, that barrel's hot though. We may have to spend 10 minutes or so cooling that thing down in the shade. I think we'll do that. All right, we've let this barrel cool way down for a good 20 minutes. Now, let's see what it does with these nozzlers. AccuBond, are they as accurate as it says? Generally they are. Lower left red dot. Yeah, let's see, yeah. I think it's been shooting a little low. I'm gonna go for one MOA above the red dot. And it shot high, ha ha. Well, hardly matters. We've got a nice spot for it there. Right beside it, 2673. Wow, wow, wow. What a rifle. Huh. Dead up, open it up to just about an inch the way it looked. My wiggles are covering about 1/8 of an MOA out there. Doesn't look like there's much more heartbeat wiggle than that going on. So the nozzlers gave us an average of 2661. We will set those aside. And now we're going to switch. We're going to switch to some copper. May have some issues with that copper. We're bound to find out. Now, I have not hunted with these Lehigh Defense controlled chaos bullets, but it's all copper, and it looks like it has a really wide and deep tip. And they're designed to really open. I'm not remembering if they're designed for the petals to break off or not. But for now, we just want to see how fast they go and how accurately they shoot. Cool them down a bit. Lehigh Defense, show us what you've got. Oh, we've got a lot of holes right there. And because we shot high in that last group, dead on in the one before that, dead on for that, yeah, we're all going a little bit high, so I think I can afford to shoot for the very center red dot, and I should be above my initial groups in that area. Quite a bit high and to the right. 2769. Yeah, pretty wide. I'm thinking we're getting that foul barrel issue working against us here. So we may have to reshoot these with a clean barrel to be fair. Yeah, the first shot was quite a bit out, and that could have been that foul barrel issue. The velocity is up really good, 2782. The average 2786. 2786. A bit of cooling and we'll try the Hornady Outfitter. And I think we might just call this job well done. I'd have no doubts that this rifle is accurate. Tikka, who'd have thunk it? Well, I guess everybody who shot him's thunk it. All right, let's get this Hornady Outfitter ammo with the CX copper bullet ready to go and see if that does any better than the Lehigh Defense copper did. Now that we have the barrel fouled, you know, I'm not sure that's going to make a difference. It still may be a problem because of the previous rounds that went down this barrel to foul it. Why that happens, I still don't know, but it sure seems to happen. Well, let's see, what sort of room do we have on there? Those went high. Going for that last red dot in the lower right. Yeah, it's right on the edge of the paper to the right. For some reason, these copper want to shoot way right. Huh. First shot way right, just like the last one. That one came back left, but it's not a good group. 2667. I don't know if that enlarged the hole or went off the paper to the right again. Looks like it went just to the right by side of the first one. Still gives us about an inch and an eighth group. But I bet we could do better if we clean the barrel. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that, guys, just to be fair to these copper bullets, because generally coppers shoot as well as, if not better than, really in my experience, they often shoot much better. So I think it's only fair that we clean this barrel thoroughly and do some more with these two. And we might even throw another copper in there just to have some fun. But boy, I tell you what, so far, everybody, you've been right about these Tikkas. I don't know if anyone's ever said a Tikka's a piece of junk, it doesn't shoot very accurately. They all shoot extremely well right out of the box, and this one certainly has. So let's clean the barrel, and then we're gonna shoot some more groups and then wrap this baby up. And I think we're gonna pass this one with flying colors. Be right back. Pretty impressive stuff, guys, considering the mix of ammunition. No cleaning in between any of them. And that first group was our winner at .411, the first 3 shots, wow. And then the Creedmoor ammo, .7. Then we went up to the Winchester, good old common Winchester, .616. The Remington, .895. Federal, 1.4. Nosler's Accubon at .97. And then we went up here to the Lehigh Defense, and it says right in the box, there's a slip of paper that says these will not shoot well over a barrel that's been fouled by standard bullets. So we've got to redo that one. And ditto with the Hornady CX. We got right on the edge of the paper, just missed the edge of the paper there, and then one on the paper. Still 1.3, which is not bad. We'll clean the barrel, shoot these two again, and I bet you we get some better groups out of it. But hey, I'm satisfied. Tikka T3X, wow. Sweet shooting rifle. Well, good morning, everyone. We have a clean rifle, dirty target, but we're going to try to shoot our groups again. Now we have the copper bullets, and here's a cool thing I discovered in the box. I don't know why I missed it, but I've seen it before. A notice from the bullet manufacturer, from Lehigh Defense, these bullets, all copper, it says, for optimal accuracy with the Lehigh Defense bullets, it's important to clean the bore of all non-Lehigh Defense copper fouling prior to shooting Lehigh Defense bullets. Copper fouling is in the bore that has been deposited by the use of common cup and core bullets will have a substantial negative effect on the accuracy of Lehigh Defense solid copper bullets. And that's kind of been the story on copper, so I'm not the only one who thinks that. And that's what we're doing now. I cleaned that thing with copper cleaner right down to bare metal, and it was heavily fouled. The lands were just copper all the way. It was shooting beautifully with all this other ammunition. Now we're going to see how well it does. So the first shot could be a high and wide or just about anything, a clean barrel, but we'll shoot a couple. Yeah, we'll shoot a 3-shot group and then maybe shoot another one if that first one's no good. Give this thing a fair shot at it. Let's get our Garmin functional here. All right, where am I going to aim? I think I will. All right, I'm going for the right side, vertical center of the target, off to the right where the biggest circle meets the heavy black line. I'm going to aim at the point of that heavy black line meeting the circle. Good, steady aim point right there. Nice trigger break. All right, 2 high and 1 to the right. That is about where that group was landing yesterday. Yeah, same height, so that didn't change much. Now for consistency. Might not get it with this second shot. Felt really good. Well, it looks like it went a little bit higher into that other group. Nice. Right beside the other one. But it does look like we have about 1.25 inches, a little bit more group right there. Average 2788.7. So in fairness, let's wait and shoot one more 3-shot group with this ammunition before we switch to the CX copper bullet from Hornady. See how well that one shoots. Copper over copper. Might not be fully fair if they're taking the same claim as Lehigh that you should shoot on a fresh barrel with no other bullet, but generally copper over copper doesn't seem to have the issue as it is copper over standard bullets, which have the gilding metal jacket instead of pure copper. And I still don't know why. I need to ask around on this one why that is happening. Be good to get the answer. Yeah, that's not too hot. I think we can load her up and go again. All right, let's see. I'm going to come down. No, I can't come down 8 clicks without having to change that, so I can't do that. I better slide over to a new group spot. Yeah. I'm going to dial left 1 MOA. And I'm going to swing over now to the opposite side of the target and aim at the junction of that fat black line with the edge of the circle. And that'll go up into that former group or just under it. Yeah. Get this rifle to settle in naturally here. There we go. Tweak it with my rabbit ear squeeze. Nice and steady hold, barely moving. Nice. Yep, straight up, right on the line. 2787. Got a little bit of a hitch every once in a while when I'm picking a round up from that magazine. One of the issues I have with a lot of detachable magazines is that they sometimes do that. They wiggle a little bit. They're not perfectly locked into position. You hit the back of them or something. I'd want to investigate that a little bit more. Felt really good, but it's out. Thus far, these Lehigh Chaos are not shooting as well as some of the other loads we've been shooting. That's out a good 1.5 inches probably. Yeah. Now that's just not the ammunition this rifle likes. Thus far, the best was this Norma. It's not this one, it was the other version. This is a Norma Oryx I brought out just in case I wanted to try it. But that first group I shot with this rifle with the, and those were copper bullets. Those were copper bullets. And I got that tight group. I think it's under 1/2 inch. Well under, it's right in the center of the target, I believe. All right, we'll cool and try the Hornady ammo next. Yeah, go center target and then drop down 1, 2, 3 inches, 1 inch to the right. You've got 3 holes right on top of one another. That was shot with a Norma 150 grain Echo tip bullet, all copper bullet with a polymer tip. Let this barrel cool off a bit. All right, let's see what the Hornady Outfitter ammunition will do, shooting 150 grain CX all copper bullet with a polymer tip. First group I shot with it yesterday was not all that great, 1.3. Gonna work just fine for hunting, but I think it's capable of grouping better than that. And now that we have a copper fouled barrel instead of a gilding metal fouled barrel, we should give it a fair chance. And we have a pretty good gap right in the center. red bullseye right in the center. Last time I shot this, we were that high and a little bit right, about 1 inch to 2 right. So I've adjusted it MOA left. Let's see what it'll do. Looks like it's a little bit low, but right on about the line. At about 5, 6, 7, yeah, about 630. Oh, that felt good. That one went above the red, right in the middle. Don't seem to be too crazy about this either. Looks like that one went in the same hole as that second shot.
Nope.
That's the one that went out at 3 o'clock, a little bit higher, 230.
Yeah, 230.
Huh. That jumped out to almost 2 inches. Doesn't seem to like this ammunition any better than the Lehigh Defense. That surprises me. But overall, this rifle is a shooter. When you can run that many different factory loads through, you know, one experiment we might do, we've always done the copper bullets once a barrel's been fouled with gilding metal and get poor accuracy. Maybe we should try traditional bullets after the barrel's been fouled with copper and see what that does. We've got Federal Premium 180 grain trophy bonded tip here and some 165 grain Oryx from Norma. Let's give that Oryx a try. The Norma ammunition gave us our best group initially. There might not be any live rounds in here. Oh, there they are. We've got 4. Woohoo! Let's do it. By the way, guys, I was bragging about this system. You put that on your belt if you want. It's kind of a hard plastic, and they really hold in there tightly. I can't even get them out by pulling on the rim. But if you just push your thumb at the base of the shoulder and push up, they slide up easily. It is sweet. Don't fall out like so many of these ammo boxes, so-called control devices work or don't work. Now, I've used this Oryx bullet in Africa a fair amount, and it's your traditional bonded lead core bullet with controlled expansion and deep penetration. It works really well. I've taken Eland with it, but that was with a 375 H&H. All right, what sort of a space do we have? It's been shooting a little bit high with everything here, but those are 150 grain bullets. We're going for that black line on the right again where it meets the circle, and hope it shoots a little bit lower than the previous groups. Here we go. Getting to be quite a breeze here off my right shoulder. Looks like it pushed it about 3/4 of an inch left. But that could be how it is zeroed. Felt good. Right beside it, about a 1/2 inch group. 2689. Yeah, a nice little sub MOA group right there. So it appears at least the Norma gilding metal jacketed bullets don't care if you fire them over a barrel that's been fouled by pure copper. What about the Federal? I don't know. Do we have enough space on that target for one more group? Yeah, I think we could sneak one in there. Oh, where should we go? I think I'm going to go for that lower right red dot. All of our shots there are to the right. There's really only one touching the paper. One just nicked it. So I think we should shoot just a smidgen left with this load if it's true to its word here. 2672, 2669. This was the average on the, okay, 2672 for this was Norma. Sweet. Yep, we're left 2 inches. fairly clean space. 25.99, call that 2,600 feet per second, 180 grain bullet. Not bad for a 20-inch barrel 308. There's a nice hold. Yeah, about an inch out. Not too bad. Nice. Yeah, inch and an eighth or so. No, that's getting closer to inch and a half. All right, 25.87. So the average on that was 25.97. 25.97. And we'll go measure our groups, but standard deviation on that one. All right, well, that's pretty much done with the testing of this Tikka, guys. Tikka 3, or T3X. Everybody has been crowing about them, and I understand why. It is a smooth shooter. Functionally, it's doing everything it's supposed to do. Couple little hitches with that magazine catching on the bolt a few times, but I think a guy can figure that one out. The scope that I'm using is great for target shooting and be a great hunting scope if you don't mind a little bit more size and weight. To me, it looks a little bit big for this short and light of a rifle, so I'd probably go with a lighter scope on that one, smaller scope, bring it down. It's too high right now, but we gotta do what we can do with the equipment we have when we test these things. But boy, am I sure pleased with as well as it shoots. This is really amazing. We have put through it how many different loads? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different loads, and the best group was 0.411 and the worst group was 2.2, but that was over a fouled barrel with the copper. Once we fixed that up, we shot closer to a 1.5 inch group with it or something on the Lehigh defense ammo. We'll get down there and measure all that, but I think you guys can see what you need to see. If you're looking for an out of the box factory rifle that's well respected because it shoots consistently well, I think I've proven they're right. This one does. So you might want to check out a Tikka. This is Ron Spomer. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hunt honest and shoot straight.